Hello students, today I am going to deal about theoretical aspects in leverages. Actually the leverage term lever, we can relate it to lever in the sense the lever is used for pulling a heavy object up. In the same way, leverage is the term used in financial management to increase the earnings per share or to increase the earnings of the company. Okay, that is why the term leverages is used. So the leverages definition goes like this: it is employment of an asset or sources of funds for which the firm has to pay a fixed cost or fixed return. Two things you have to see here. One is employment of an asset. For that the company has to pay fixed cost. Okay, employment of an asset, for that the company has to pay fixed cost. Another one is sources of funds for which the company has to pay fixed return. So employment of an asset here means what are the fixed assets the company is buying. Okay, so the fixed assets like land, machine, building, machinery, okay, all these things requires a depreciation cost. So depreciation has to be levied on the assets. So the depreciation amount is called as a fixed asset. Okay, so employment of an asset like the fixed assets leads to payment of depreciation, that is the fixed cost. Second one, sources of funds. Sources of funds you all know, equity shares are there, preference shares, debentures, retained earnings, loans, everything is there. In this, if you consider debenture, the company has to pay fixed interest for the debentures. Same way, if you consider the preference shares, the company needs to pay fixed preference dividend to the preference shareholders. So both these are called as fixed return from the company, for the company. Okay, so employment of an asset leads to payment of fixed cost. Employment of sources of funds leads to fixed return. These two has an impact on the earnings per share of the company and earnings before interest and tax of the company. That is why it is called as leverage. Okay, so before going into the leverage topic, you should understand the income statement properly, because all the problems will be doing using the income statement format only. You know this format already, but still it is needed for leverages. I am going to deal about it before going into leverage topic in detail. Okay, so first in the income statement you have sales. Sales is nothing but the total revenue for the company. Sales minus the variable cost will get you contribution. Contribution minus the fixed cost. Either you can call it as fixed cost or you can call it as fixed operating cost like depreciation. Okay, administration expenses, selling and distribution expenses, all these are called as fixed operating costs. That will get you earnings before interest and tax, EBIT. This is otherwise called as operating profit. That minus the interest, because once the earnings are received by the company, they need to pay to the debenture holders, preference shareholders and equity shareholders. And you all know, first they have to pay the interest for the debenture holders. Okay, so EBIT, after that they need to pay interest. So minus interest on the debt. Debt is nothing but debenture or loan. That will give them earnings after interest and before tax. Once interest has been paid, tax has to be subtracted, minus tax. Okay, that is why the interest is called as a tax exempted item, because after paying interest only, the tax for the remaining amount, the tax needs to be paid by the company. After deducting tax, you will get earnings after interest and tax. Okay, and after the interest and tax, you have to, the company has to pay preference dividend for the preference shareholders. So minus preference dividend, that will get you equity earnings. Okay, what does it mean? From the total earnings, the company first pay to the debenture holders, then tax has to be subtracted, then it is paying to the preference shareholders the dividend. Then whatever amount is remaining, that is only is meant for the equity shareholders. Again you should know this equity earnings not necessarily has to be paid by the company to the shareholders. It is not a compulsory payment, you all know. Okay, so the entire amount can be paid, or a part can be paid and part can be retained. Okay, or the full amount can be retained back. Everything depends on the company's discretion or board of directors discretion. Okay, but the amount, total amount is called as equity earnings. This is otherwise called as earnings available to equity shareholders. This equity earnings divided by the number of equity shares will get you earnings per share. Earnings per share can be calculated only for the equity shares, not for preference shares, because preference dividend is a fixed amount. Then debenture interest is a fixed amount, but equity earnings changes. That is why EPS can be calculated only for the equity shares. Equity shares are otherwise called as ordinary shares. So equity earnings divided by the number of equity shares will get you earnings per share. So this statement you have to be very clear, then only you can do the problems very easily. Then coming to the operating leverage, you have three different types of leverages. One is operating leverage, then financial leverage, and third one is the combined leverage. So operating leverage, the definition is like this: the firm's ability to use fixed operating costs to magnify the effect of changes in sales on its earnings before interest and tax. So if you read it clearly, it says that the fixed operating costs are magnifying the effect of changes in sales on its EBIT. Let us assume there is a 10% increase in sales, then you can expect same proportionate increase in EBIT. That is not the case with operating leverage. What operating leverage says, if there is a 10% increase in sales, it will magnify the effect. It means more than proportionate change in EBIT. This you can understand by the previous slide. Okay, see here, because of presence of fixed operating cost, a certain percentage increase in sales will lead to more than proportionate increase in EBIT. Okay, so you can remember like this: sales to EBIT is operating leverage. Later we will see EBIT to EPS as financial leverage, and the entire thing, sales to EPS, is called as combined leverage. That we will see later. But for remembrance, operating leverage, it says because of presence of fixed operating costs, for a change in sales, you can expect more than proportionate change in EBIT. Let us assume there is a 10% increase in sales. Then proportionate increase in EBIT is 10%, but you will get more than 10% increase in EBIT if there is a fixed operating cost like depreciation. That is the meaning of operating leverage. And this operating leverage has got certain assumptions. Based on those assumptions only they have arrived at the definition. These assumptions are similar to your break-even analysis assumptions or marginal costing statement assumptions. Selling price per unit remains constant. All costs can be divided into fixed and variable. Variable cost per unit remains same. Fixed cost in total remains same. Production alone influences the cost structure. Okay, it is nothing but you have fixed cost and variable cost. Fixed cost in total remains the same. Variable cost per unit remains the same. And selling price per unit remains the same. So what is the major factor that is going to influence the cost structure is your production. How many units you are going to produce, that will only have an influence on the cost structure. Okay, so these assumptions you can remember easily. This is similar to your marginal costing statement assumptions. Okay, so this is operating leverage. As I have already told you, for a change in sales, there will be more than proportionate change in EBIT when there is a fixed operating cost. Okay, so the formula is very simple, you can remember. Okay, the formula is like this. Degree of operating leverage, we used to say degree means how sensitive it is. Okay, so degree of operating leverage measures the sensitivity of operating income to change in revenues. As I have already told you, we are comparing the sales and EBIT. Already I told you we are comparing sales and EBIT in the case of operating leverage. Okay, so the formula will be percentage change in EBIT by percentage change in sales. Okay, you can see in the brackets for multiple structure. When a problem is given, you have to see whether it is pertaining to multiple structure or single structure. What we mean by multiple structure is if two or more sales are given, then it is called as multiple structure. Okay. Fixed operating cost will remain the same. Only sales, the first item in income statement, the sales is different. Different sales are given to you. Then only you can find out the percentage change in sales, right? So in that case, it is called as a multiple structure. If you are given only one sales value, then it is called as a single structure. For a multiple structure, this is the formula. You are comparing sales and EBIT. Remember that operating leverage means for a increase in sales, more than proportionate change in EBIT will be there if there is a fixed operating cost, we have said. So, percentage change in EBIT by percentage change in sales. That is the formula for multiple structure. This percentage change is nothing but delta EBIT by EBIT. Delta is a change divided by EBIT by delta Q by Q. Q is nothing but the sales quantity we are talking. Either you can take the quantity of sales or it is the amount of sales that has been made by the company. If it is a single structure, then contribution by EBIT is the formula. Once you do the problem, you can understand the concept easily. Okay. So, degree of operating leverage talks about sales and EBIT in the income statement, that is the first half of your income statement, that is called as degree of operating leverage. So, how you can write the interpretation is when a firm has fixed operating costs, an increase in the sales volume results in a more than proportionate increase in EBIT. As I have already told you, because of the presence of fixed cost, increase in the sales leads to more than proportionate increase in EBIT. This is called as favorable leverage. Similarly, a decrease in the level of sales has exactly opposite effect in the sense more than proportionate decrease. This is called as unfavorable leverage. How you can remember this is, let us assume there is a 10% increase in sales. Then there will be more than 10% increase in EBIT when there is a fixed cost. That is called as favorable leverage. Second example, let us assume there is a 5% decrease in sales. That will lead to more than 5% decrease in EBIT. That is called as unfavorable leverage. So, after finding the degree of operating leverage, if DOL, degree of operating leverage, exceeds 1, it means operating leverage exists. Or if DOL is equal to 1, it means there is no operating leverage. This you can remember. So, DOL value is equal to 1 means there is no operating leverage, you need to write. What does it mean? There is no fixed cost. Okay. If DOL is more than 1, then operating leverage exists, you need to write. For example, you are getting a DOL value answer as 2. What does it means? For a 1% change in sales, there is a 2% change in EBIT. That is the meaning. That also you will be writing in the problem.